Branding is what sets you apart from other creatives and businesses, but it isn't just your logo or your color scheme. Branding goes much deeper than that. If I say the name of a company like Nike, what is the first thought that comes to your mind? That right there is branding. It's the feeling and emotion that your brand evokes. This is how you start to stand out from your competition, and if your brand aligns with your customer base, that's where the magic really starts to happen. What's up, guys? I'm Kris, a product photographer and owner of Avahi Creative Studio. At Avahi, everything that we do has to deal with branding. Our photo, video, and copy services are all meant to further your brand and make you stand out. From a creative standpoint, the brand is the overarching theme that's going to help propel a business forward. So you need to make sure that your brand is correct, it aligns with your target audience, and then every chance you get, you need to try to strengthen your brand. Creating a brand for yourself takes a lot of self-awareness and planning. So that's why I created a branding strategy worksheet that you're going to be able to download directly from the Avahi website. In this video, I'm just giving you a high-level overview of what branding is, so I highly recommend grabbing that worksheet so that you can get a better strategy in place. Before you run out to commission a logo, you have to decide what you want your business to look like in 10 years. What is your ultimate goal? Let's use a coffee shop as an example. If your goal is to be the next Starbucks, then your branding is going to be drastically different than somebody who just wants to be the local coffee place. They're essentially the same business, but they're going to have completely different business models, which means they need completely different business branding. Once you know what your business is going to look like in 10 years, you can start building out what you think your audience is going to look like. Going back to that coffee shop example, Starbucks is kind of aimed at the trendy professional or the hip mom who's really looking for just a consistent coffee experience. Starbucks isn't really trying to be the best product out there. It's trying to be fast and consistent. A local coffee shop is going to be a completely different experience, though. It's going to be much slower. It's also probably not going to be as consistent because it's going to be dependent on your barista, but the overall quality is probably going to be much higher than Starbucks. If you go to your local coffee shop on a Tuesday morning, you're going to see that most of the customers are just kind of like lounging around the coffee shop. Maybe they're working on their laptop or they're talking with a friend or something like that. But if you go to a Starbucks, you're going to notice that most of their customers are going through the drive-thru and they're just going through for a quick cup of coffee. Once you have an idea of your overall audience, we want to break it down even further. Hone in on a specific person in your target audience, just one person. Jenny, the overstressed mom who has 2 kids and a professional job, is trying to get her coffee quickly on the way to work before she drops off her kids at daycare. You aren't selling your coffee to just any mom. You are selling your coffee specifically to Jenny. And all of your stuff, all of your branding needs to be based on Jenny. Now that you have your audience and a specific persona that you're selling to, how is your company already helping your clientele? And more importantly, how can you continue to help them? Anything that isn't benefiting your target audience probably doesn't need to exist. If you have a service or product that doesn't fit with your target audience, then you have to rethink whether or not that audience is correct or the product and service is correct. If you want to have a strong brand, then you need to be laser focused in on your audience. Matthew McConaughey actually talks about this in his book Greenlight. He was becoming known as the rom-com guy, but he really wanted to get into dramas. Even though rom-coms were what made him rich, he decided that dramas were what he wanted to do. So he was completely focused on getting a role in a drama. It took a full year before he got his first job offer, but during that time, he refused any and every rom-com that came his way. He knew exactly what his brand was going to be, and he stuck at it until he was able to fulfill it. Okay, this is the last part before we're able to start creating our brand. You have to take a look at your competitors and see what they are doing well and see what they are dropping the ball on. The more that you can learn about your competitors, the more that you can help yourself. Going back to the coffee example, if you know that Starbucks is your competitor, then you're able to kind of examine what they're doing and find out where you can fit in. So for example, using Starbucks as the example, we know that they do really well at being fast and being consistent, but they aren't the highest quality coffee that you can get. So that is one spot where you'd be able to take some market share from Starbucks. Just like athletes would do, you have to study the tape to find out what their strengths and weaknesses are. Now that we're done with the research, let's start creating our brand. So a value proposition is the value that you bring your customers. This is going to be different for every company, obviously. Going back to our coffee shop example, a local coffee shop is going to stand out by providing higher quality coffee. Their value is completely based on providing higher quality coffee. Since their goal is to provide a superior product, their focus is going to be giving you the best cup of coffee, not the fastest. So they're going to sell less cups of coffee, but it's going to be higher quality, so the price is going to need to be higher. All of this is going to be informed by your audience and personas from before. Your brand story will be why you started this business. You want to make sure that your brand story fits your audience and persona. You don't want to just tell them, hey, I started this business because I hate working with other people. You want to give them a story that they're actually going to connect with. Then from there, we can start working on the rest of your messaging around that core story. For our imaginary coffee shop, there's two things that we're obviously going to focus on: having a higher quality product, and then also another thing is going to be a more relaxing atmosphere compared to a hectic Starbucks. So a few of the keywords that you would want to focus on with your brand story and all of your messaging is going to be relaxation, high quality. Keywords like that are going to help you stand out. A lot of people think that branding is solely your logo, but literally everything we've talked about in this video is before you would even touch the pen tool in Adobe. A lot of other agencies that you'll work with, though, are going to try to just sell you a logo and start there. The agencies that take the time to create these personas with you and really figure out your brand strategy are the ones that are going to be good partners because they're helping you actually succeed, not just on having a good logo, but really figuring out your purpose in the market. Moving on to brand imagery, this is going to be the elements that you're most used to seeing. So this is your logo, your typography, all of your photos, videos, all of this is brand imagery. And a good brand is going to be cohesive across all of the different mediums. So whether that's websites, in person, online, on your phone, in a video, during photos, your brand should stand out in all of those different. My favorite part of the branding process is figuring out ways to push it even further. Everybody's used to these large elements like logos and websites and all these different branding elements like that. But what about the way that you talk to people? Do you repeat words or keywords that you use? For example, my business, I do a lot of video calls. So my background has things that are important to me and kind of shows off my brand in that way. The more that you're able to reinforce your brand, the stronger it's going to be. And the stronger your brand is, the better your business is going to do. Make sure you check out my website for the full branding strategy worksheet if you haven't already downloaded it. I'll link it down below in the description. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week.